In this video, we'll be looking at crazy TikTok facts that will leave you speechless.
1 in a billion coincidences. A man in New Jersey bought a $5 bottle of orange juice back in 2018. But the moment he got home, his wife told him to go back to the store and return it because it was too expensive. He went back to the store and decided to buy 2 Powerball tickets with the refunded money. And the next day, he ended up winning the $300 million jackpot. This guy caught the exact same fish 2 months after already catching it. Harry John Patch was the last surviving soldier from World War I. He died at the age of 111 years, 1 month, 1 week, and 1 day. Tom Cruise divorced all 3 of his ex-wives the year they turned 33. And each is 11 years younger than the last. The first person to ever die during the construction of the Hoover Dam was this man named J.J. Thomas, who died on December 20th, 1922. On the same exact day, 14 years later, the last person died. And that man was J.J.'s son, Patrick.
Transporting the president from one place to another is a huge operation that happens every single day. The logistics that go into this are absolutely insane because obviously they have to keep him safe. Travelling by car is of course a very common method of transport. But 2 of the most famous presidential assassinations in history took place while the president was in the car. This is a motorcade, and this is what happens when the president is transported anywhere. First of all, typically you would never know which car the president is actually in for his safety. Normally there would be around 10 to 15 cars that look exactly the same in a pursuit and you'd never know which one he's in. The front of the motorcade is the leader, normally a motorbike leading the crew. Then you would have 2 police cars, followed by all of the cars. Then you would have military, an ambulance, and helicopters as well. See what I mean? Not an easy job. What if the president's going abroad, or to say New York, where he normally goes? Although he will be situated on his plane, it will never fly alone. He'll be surrounded by military jets and helicopters. And of course his motorcade needs to come with him for when he arrives. So they load everything up on a C5 Galaxy cargo plane, and then they can begin the flight. Now, for a single 1-hour trip to New York, this is the costs of everything. That is astronomical. To put it into context, that is $2,614 every single minute. This happens very, very regularly.
Genius in...
Yo, I'm in the wrong, business. I need to be flying the president around. Did y'all hear that? Over $2,000 a minute? Come on, man.
Inventions that should exist everywhere, part 13. First, now basically anyone can become bulletproof thanks to graphene, which is a single layer of carbon atoms. Graphene can be used to create bulletproof materials that are both practically invincible and practically invisible. Just 2 layers of stacked graphene can absorb the impact of a bullet, effectively stopping it in its tracks. So there's no need for heavy, bulky, bulletproof vests anymore. Next, as we all know, police shootings of criminals are all too common, and they often result in unnecessary deaths. That's where the BolaWrap 150 comes in. This innovative gadget shoots out laser-targeted Kevlar cords that automatically wrap around a criminal's body, disabling their arms and/or legs. This means that they can't use weapons or run away, effectively stopping the situation from escalating.
They're not gonna use that.
You won't believe this celebrity's life story. Born in 1922, actor Christopher Lee holds the world record for the most movies and films starred in, with over 250. But that's not even close to being the coolest thing about his life. Through his mother's side, Lee is related to Emperor Charlemagne of the Holy Roman Empire, and he's also related to Robert E. Lee, the Confederate American general. During World War II, Lee became an intelligence officer in Britain's Special Forces unit, and a little bit later in the war, he became a spy in the Special Ops unit, and some of his missions today are still classified. And during his time in the war, he learned how to speak 6 different languages fluently. He played Saruman in the Lord of the Rings trilogy and was the only person to have met the author of the book, J.R.R. Tolkien. In 2009, he was officially made a knight by the British government, and he also made a heavy metal album. And he won a world championship in fencing.
Yo, these actors, you really never know what their true background is. This guy was a spy in the war. He was CIA, all type of stuff, but he's an actor though. You don't look at it like that, right?
These people literally stretched their own skulls. Back in the 1500s, the Incas practiced something called cranial deformation. They would wrap string tightly around the newborn's heads so that their heads would stretch as they grew. This would cause them to have cone-shaped heads like the one seen here. And during these times, it wasn't considered a bad thing. This was considered a symbol of beauty according to their tribe.
So why you guys think they did that? Shape their heads or whatever? I think it's because there was an ancient deity or an ancient people who these people looked up to, and their heads were shaped like that. So to become more like the gods or the deities that they worship, they wanted to shape their heads in the same fashion. Let me know what you guys think about that.
Most uncomfortable products ever designed. Firstly, this Cinderella car seat was designed to make children quieter in the car, and it looks normal when there's a small child in it. But as they get older, you have to adjust the headrest. And to do that, it ends up stretching her neck like this. This Minion shampoo bottle looks like it would be good for kids, but for the strawberry scented one, they decided to make it bright red, so it looks like blood is coming out of his eyes. Next, a Spider-Man tissue box sounds like a good idea, and we all know the main Spider-Man pose. But whoever decided to put that on a Kleenex box clearly didn't think it through, because it looks like you're pulling tissues out of Spider-Man's butt. Lastly, in the children's hospital, they tried making a pathway that looks like a red ribbon. But instead, it looks like a path left by someone dragging a bloody body.
Maps that will change the way you see the world. This is what Pluto would look like if you placed it next to Australia.
Really?
This is the number of Switzerlands that fit inside of Brazil. This is the most famous brand from every state in the US.
Wait, pause. I'm sorry. They say Pluto is the size of Australia, correct? But yet we can see it at the end of our supposed solar system. The last planet, correct? If it's even a planet. But it's that small though. Why can't we see anything on the moon? Which is that much closer. Crazy.
This is a map of the obesity in North America. This is the percentage of young adults in Europe who are still living with their parents. These are all the air traffic control zones in the United States. The shape of Australia looks like a dog's head and a cat's head combined. Follow for more.
The craziest jobs in the world you didn't know existed. Okay, firstly, you can become a professional sleeper. And I know it sounds too good to be true, but you actually get paid to sleep. Companies usually hire these professional sleepers to test out mattresses. Next, this man might look like a regular scuba diver, but he's actually an underwater pizza delivery man. He works at an underwater hotel in Florida and brings pizza to the guests. And lastly, there's a job at Netflix that literally pays you to watch Netflix. They're hired to watch all the unreleased movies and TV shows before they're released to the public to make sure there's no mistakes. After hearing about those jobs, if you're looking for a new job, I found the perfect app called Direct, and you can get a job fast. You can customize your job preferences to find the perfect job for you, like professional sleeper. You also get to directly chat with the CEOs, and most people get hired within 24 hours.
Take all you can if you can break it. These are some of the most brilliant advertising campaigns that stunned everyone. This is an advertising campaign from a company who produces armored glass. They did this in Vancouver, Canada, where they placed $3 million inside 2 pieces of armored glass at a bus stop. And get this, it was real money. You can see some of these CCTV photos showing people trying to break through. And as they intended, no one succeeded and it looked great for the company. And in Sweden, McDonald's decided to take their advertising to the next level. This is where people on the street could get on their phones and control the physical billboard. Look, some of them played virtual Pong and others wrote messages.
So yeah, there's a lot of TikTok facts in here, guys, and some of them did leave me speechless. It's crazy. If you like the content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Turn your notification bell on, and until next time, YouTube, peace.